So I'm Josh with Atlas, and thank you. Appreciate you spending some time to listen to what I have to say. Everybody's busy, I know that. So, and also thank you, Dylan, and all the folks at Limitless for giving me the opportunity to talk. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the relationship between scaling and growth. These terms are constantly being used in this industry. We go to these events and we listen to some of these coaches and these speakers, and they're using scaling and growth. Um, and these are some things that I've dealt with in my like heavily in my past, the difference between scaling and growing. And I could even say I struggled with it in some cases, and I do it today in some capacity with Atlas in my current role. I'm trying to grow and scale Atlas as a manufacturer, as a company, get our brand out there and recognized. I really want to touch more on how scaling and growth affects business longevity, sustainability, profitability, and ultimately a home improvement contractor or roofer's success. And all those like business buzzwords, they're all connected with each other, and they are absolutely connected to both scaling and growth. Scaling and growth as well are connected to each other as equally. They are connected. And when you think about these two terms, you think about them as like a Venn diagram where you have two circles that overlap and you have that center commonality. That is absolutely true about the relationship between scaling and growth, but they are absolutely completely different business terms. They require different strategies, different methodologies, different types of investments. Both are absolutely important, but one is more critical to establish a foundation for the building blocks of that success that we're all after as business owners and home improvement contractors. So before I started, I just want to give a little bit of background of like who I am. So again, I'm Josh VanDusky, and I'm the senior customer experience manager at Atlas. For almost 20 years now, I've been somewhere in the building material, construction, home improvement, roofing, and solar space. Prior to Atlas, I spent 8 years in in-home sales. Two of them, I was moonlighting while working for a large company doing commercial construction and infrastructure in New York City. But a couple of years after that, I had the opportunity to start a grassroots roofing and solar company from the ground up with a couple of individuals. So I myself was a licensed home improvement contractor, and I actually keep my expired license in my wallet. So I have the receipts to show people that I actually actually was a contractor. And, I've been with Atlas now for pushing 5.5 years, and I wore a few hats here, but currently I am the customer experience manager. What I'm is similar with what home improvement contractors are doing today. I'm trying to bring in customers that want to do business with Atlas. That's my job, but more similar to what I did as a home improvement contractor and what you're doing as roofers and home improvement contractors. I'm trying to entice new customers constantly, trying to get new business in. We were that I was doing that and you doing it now from a homeowner mindset. The only difference now is I'm doing it from a contractor's mindset. And but I'm not here to sell you on Atlas, and I actually appreciate an opportunity like this where I get to be more agnostic. I'm not here pitching Atlas saying how great it is, but I'm not here to do that. It's have the opportunity to talk about my past experience as a home improvement contractor. More importantly, my success and failures, because obviously I work for Atlas now. I love Atlas. It's a great company, probably my last destination in my career. But again, things happen in my business, and a lot of it had to do with scaling and growth. It was all scaling and growth of and my successes. So my wins and my losses are all tied to how I did things right on the scaling side and how I try to do things aggressively with the growth. Um, but I did have a sustainable business for 6 years, but unfortunately, 2019 had to shut my doors. But you know, I could end this webinar right now just with this one quote, but I like to about scaling and growth. I like to reference this quote, and it's companies that grow for the sake of growth or expand into areas outside of their core business strategy often stumble. On the other hand, companies that build scale for the benefit of their customers and shareholders more often succeed. And that's a quote by Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. And this is absolutely a true statement. That first sentence, grow for the sake of growth, I translate it into forced growth. We want to be extremely careful as any business owner to not growth, because if we force growth, that is some of the things that set us up for failure. Because growth is a good thing, but we get there when we successfully scale portions of our business. That's how we get there. We need to put the building blocks in place, before we're to do these aggressive things that cost and things of that nature to help us grow. Essentially, putting the cart before the horse. The scaling creates the foundation, puts the infrastructure and the procedures in place. And then what is very true for this industry, and you can search this online. There's people within a lot of these coaching groups that say this too. To scale and grow in the home improvement sector is harder than most industries. Service-based business, home improvement, it's very hard to grow and it's very hard to scale. And I'm going to throw some numbers up and some statistics of things that are opportunities to scale and things that are risks of growth. But so I love to throw up the definition of growth from Merriam-Webster's dictionary, because it's the truth. Growth, the process of increasing physical size, the process of increasing amount in value, increasing in economic value activity. This absolutely makes perfect sense when we think about growth. Scaling does not. Scaling is, when you look up the definition in the dictionary, it talks about fish and it talks about ashy elbows and needing lotion. I mean, that there is no business definition in the dictionary. Ooh, jumping ahead, sorry. That talks about scaling. It does not exist. And I recently did this, and I educate myself, and I recently went online when I put this presentation together a few months ago for I did this at RoofCon. I spoke about this as well. There's hundreds and hundreds of articles and videos out there right now talking about the difference. So I'm like, all right, there is a need to really understand the of both these aspects of business and how you are successful with both. And I don't want to go in a long-winded story, but my first experience this is that I had my business and we had our first year and I did somewhere in the six figures. I had 5 people that needed salaries. I had 12 salespeople that needed to get paid, looking for draws. I had subs that needed to get paid, distribution. So I knew I had to grow. I knew growth. So I went out, found a marketing firm, and I said, hey, here's my list of demands. I want to build a brand. I want more leads. I want a great website. Absolutely, we got you. And over months, we're going over everything. And, I knew somewhat of the pricing, but within 2 months, I get my first invoice, and it's 10% of my total annual revenue from the year before. It was not sustainable. I couldn't. That there was no way I was able to afford that. And we had a lot of people that were dependent on us. So I did my due diligence and I went online and I taught myself a lot of things. He's throwing things at me like SEO and AdWords, and these are things I didn't know, right? I worked for, commercial side of business doing infrastructure. I was not a business owner. I had to learn a lot of this on my own, and I did. I taught myself SEO. I taught myself WordPress. I built out my own, my first website myself, CSS. And then I found an article eventually that said exactly what I was doing. You need to scale. I need to invest my time to scale my business before I can spend my money to grow my business. And that was my first mistake. And then I found the website. I can't remember what the article was, but this is the business definition. Emphasis on rapid expansion without necessarily considering long-term consequences. That is growth. That is exactly what I did. I said, I need a huge website. I need a brand. I need leads. Boom, here's some money. I didn't have the money. That was the consequence. Where scaling, you're prioritizing with controlled expansion. We're looking at operational efficiency, profitability, a lot of strategy, optimizing our resources, right? Using every resource that we have at our disposal, and focus on the long-term sustainability. It's the faith or throwing at the wall and seeing what sticks. But I didn't understand the difference, and I understood the difference after that. So it basically breaks down to focus on, growth is focused on top line revenue with no consideration of profitability. Scaling, sustainable, efficient revenue growth, heavy focus I set a positive, kind of negative positive of the front end of my business. So, like I mentioned, 2019, we closed doors, and this is where the forced growth came in. And I don't know how familiar people are with I did roofing, but it was heavily on the solar side, and we were subbing out a lot, but I wanted to build an EPC model to be the sub. And we look to rapidly expand in very little time, expecting all this business to come to us. And within a few months, we have tons of new trucks, tons of new crews, and no one calling us. No one's ringing off saying, "Hey, come install our jobs." And that was risk. That was the leap of faith. But I didn't properly scale aspects of my business before I took that leap of faith, and that's where the failure came in. So I feel it's very important to really, really understand the importance of scaling. And it takes time. That's what it is. And that's kind of where I got anxious, and I kind of did exactly what I shouldn't have done. I knew already, put the cart before the horse. I didn't want to spend the time. I just want to throw money on it. But scaling, absolutely, you spend the time, you have to invest the time, and you will for your labor. Will scaling take money? Absolutely. Sometime a little bit, sometime a lot of money. We want to invest in scalable of growth, right? That's words are interchangeable. Growth takes money, and it takes a lot of money. Rapid expansion, rapidly is usually the purpose we invested in this money, but there's a lot of what ifs, and I'll go into the what ifs a little bit with the growth. But when we look at it, from a chart, this I found online, this is replicated all over the internet. And this was an article about Uber. And there's some variations of this that are a little bit different that make more sense, but this is not really wrong. This is not true at all. And that this is so many websites, and that's giving advice to people of how to grow and how to scale their business. And they're putting graphics up like this. It's wrong. The investments, the timeline, the uptick of revenue, they're never going to match between growing and scaling. That they're not identifying the profit, but the profit margin between your revenue and costs will never be the same. The investments, they're variable. There's no investment there. Um, Investment is cost. So to say investment versus cost doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, investment is a cost. It is a cost until it's not a cost, and there's ROI, 100% ROI, that outweighs that cost. But it is a cost upfront, and revenue is not profit. Revenue is not profit. So, they talk a lot about revenue when they have these graphics up about growing and scaling. Revenue is not profit. So, this is wrong. And if you see any charts, if you're looking, if you're early on your business in your first, second, third year, even, you see this runaway, I redid it myself. This is a better representation of what the difference is between scaling and growing. But again, this is not set in stone. There is a lot of variables there. You can see there's a huge upshot of revenue when we're looking at growing, when we're looking into growing our business. That profit margin's real thin, and those costs are really, really tight, in line with that revenue. The time's a lot shorter. And then the investments, they're significant, but they're variable investments too. I mean, when we add growth, there is no answer at the end of that growth strategy. Can we do calculated growth? Absolutely. If we want to expand in a new market, we can look at market conditions. We can look at competition there. We can look at necessity, right? We need necessity to make sales. So we can look at necessity if we're in storm market, or if we're in an area where, the houses are 30 years old and still on their first roofs, right? We can look at that, but we're still taking a shot with that growth. Where the scalability, this is more like a better representation of what scaling is, right? It's a very steady upline of revenue. The costs are usually lower. Your profit margin will be higher. Takes a lot more time. And on the investment side, it's a one-time significant or minor, with controlled minor investments, or no further investments, or no investment at all. If we want to focus on our free social media, for example, that's a scalable thing we can do for absolutely free. We can do that for free. Just connecting with people in our community, putting posts out there. That is something that we can do for free, and that's scalable, zero cost. Variable cost, if we're investing SEO and AdWords and things of that nature too, right? We know there's costs involved. Are they high costs? Sometimes if we're looking to really aggressively grow, but if we're looking to scale and we start out with $50 a month, that's a $50 investment every month. And we can kind of fluctuate and say, hey, we kind of tapped out in this area. We're going to focus a little bit over here. So there's a lot of variables there too in the investment, but this is a better representation of both. And any increase in profit from growth investment is not guaranteed. That is true. We don't know. Again, we can have calculated growth. We can really do our research, but we're really, putting a blindfold on sometimes with growth strategy when we're putting big investments in things like expansion of our business, expansions of our fleets, and not knowing what that is going to be on that. And then scaling does take time, but it's always going to be profitable. It's always going to be a profitable thing that we're going to want to do in our business. And like I said, there's some metrics out there and some data out there. And this is one of the most important things of why we want to scale, is because 96% of construction and contracting business fail before reaching 10 years. This is from the U.S. Department of Commerce. This is a true statistic. I'm part of that statistic, right? I made it 6, almost there, almost a little over halfway, but I am part. And a lot of that failure was because we didn't properly scale. We did not put the buildings in place to create a foundation of what we need our business to turn into, to make sure that we have longevity and long-term profitability and sustainability. We always talk about profitability, but sustainability is also a super important thing that we want in our business. So, what are practical things that we can kind of look to scale? First, we want to systemize everything. That's what we want to do. Without systems in place, we will break down. People are our weakest in our business. If we have one person doing one thing in our business and they're sick or they leave, what happens, right? The business stops, the business breaks down. Or you as owners or leaders have to step in and divert your time from selling or whatever you're doing out there, project management or whatever it is, you have to go fix that broken piece of your business. So anything that can be systemized, we want to do that to remove Achilles heel. That is that we love our people. We absolutely love them, but they do get pneumonia and they'll be out for a week. And now our business is kind of held hostage. Focus on being proactive and reactive. We always want to be proactive and always look 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 7 months down the road. If we identify an issue that we had in our business that affected one portion of it or one customer or whatever the case may be, we want to immediately go and be proactive to fix that hole or patch that area to make sure that it never happens again. So we always want to just be proactive with it. Having goals. So we want to have a annual growth percentage, and it can be 10% if you really want to take your time, and it could be 50%. Shoot for the stars. But we always want to have a target goal, because without a target, we're really not understanding what our end intention is here. And then consistent deliverables and positive customer experience. We want to be consistent in everything we do, and we want to leave our customers as happy as possible, because the greatest thing that we have in this industry is we are a positive experience driven industry. We want the referral. We want the review. That is scale, right? We scale through reviews. We scale through referrals. We want these from our customers. So being consistent in what you're delivering, the product every single time, and just having that positive customer experience absolutely is a practical, scalable investment. So, for actual things that we want to look at, and I have some crazy percentages here that I'm going to throw out there too for in a little bit, but are there systems in place? CRM, sales, production, payments, reporting. These are key things that we want in our business. Again, will there be humans involved? Sure, we need humans to go in there and systems, and we need people to access the systems, but we need our CRM to do things that on its own as well, and it has to do with things on the sales and the production side, the payment side, the reporting side, reporting is extremely important. Um, if you're not generating a weekly sales or monthly sales report, it's a huge missed opportunity for any business. Even daily reports, we want to see where we're at with our ROI. We want to see different percentages of uptick in production. We want to see all these things, right? These are things that are being so we can address opportunity. If we see that there's with leads being closed or customers being left out there for a long time without getting, the job done, right? These are opportunities we can address to be proactive, to put systems in place so we can make sure moving forward this doesn't happen. Um, and then customer automation. There's a lot now with AI. I mean, I'm sure everybody in this industry, if you're at any of these events, you're about AI, and it's the new thing. And there's a lot of things that we can do at not tremendous cost too, for scalable investments in our business. One, chatbot, absolutely. We want a chatbot, a scheduler. There's two things that we need to make profit and be successful. We need necessity and opportunity, right? And we're doing through our branding and all that. We're investing in our brand. We have a great website and our SEO, our lead gen, right? That's where we're getting getting the forefront of that necessity for that opportunity. But we need our systems to capture that opportunity for us. So allowing customers to schedule time for an inspection or schedule time with you, super important. SMS, that's part of customer experience. Keep your homeowners, your customers in the loop. Constant emails, reminders. These are things that we want to invest in. And again, these are scalable areas for areas of business that don't necessarily cost a lot of money. And ultimately, it's what's going to continue to generate opportunity for you when the necessity arises. What is this going to do? It's going to free up time to sell. Absolutely, right? We in place, we want to sell more. We sell more means we make more money. Efficiency, less overhead. Again, people, we love our people. And we need our people, but operational staff usually they're not sales, they're not 1099. You're paying an hourly or a salary. So the less people we need in place for process and systems is less overhead and it's more efficient. We don't have that breakdown. Customer experience, obviously, this is all going to help customer experience. More leads captured. These are things that we want to do. We want to make sure that every lead is captured. We want reminders in place. So this is those percentages. 40% of all leads are missed due to late or no contact. So if you're generating 100 leads a year, 40 of those are missed opportunities. So when we have systems in place, reminding, immediate reminders, hey, this lead just came in, it's 5 minutes cold, you better call it. That's what we want to do because those 40% of those leads are going to competitors and that's missed opportunity. You got that. You were at the forefront of that opportunity. You do need to do scaling your brand and getting your brand up there that you were at the forefront of that opportunity and you missed your shot because you didn't have systems in place. So now your competitor who wasn't the first choice most likely got that job. More leads closed. That's obviously part of more leads captured, more leads closed, more reviews. So 92% of all customers make decisions influenced by reviews. That you can check that. You can fact check me on that. 92% of all customers. So we want to invest in systems that are asking our customers to give us those reviews. Like I said, we are a referral-based business. We are a review-based business. That's how we do it in the home improvement sector. 39% of companies don't ask for reviews. So nearly 40% of the time, people aren't asking for reviews. And again, we love our people, right? We love our sales guys, but are they asking every time? Are they being consistent? But if we have systems in place that are automatically asking for reviews, that's where that SMS, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, we know, hope you had a great experience dealing with us. We're asking you to take 5 minutes to, do this review for us. Maybe there's a $10 Starbucks gift card at the end of it. I mean, whatever it is, but we put these systems in place so we're not missing on these opportunities. and more referrals. Referral automation is absolutely the most important thing. I'll tell you a quick story. We used to capture our customers' birthdays, and we would send them birthday cards. Did I love my customers? Absolutely. Did I care it was their birthday? Not so much. What I was doing was staying relevant to them so that they knew that when some opportunity arose for one of their friends or family, we're at the front in their head. Hey, you've got any friends and family? Hey, happy birthday from us. And remember, we're here. You ever need us, any of your family, any of your friends, we're here for you. That's all it is. And, a low cost investment in scaling because I'm trying to get as many referrals as possible. And if you look at it like this, if you have 100 customers, give you 100 referrals. Your acquisition cost is $350 per customer. Your acquisition cost now is what? It's 50% of that. So we want these referrals. 11% of salespeople ask for referrals. 11%. While 91% of customers are willing to give them. That is such a missed opportunity. So if we have systems in place, again, we love our people, but we want to have systems in place that we are asking our customers for these referrals so we can get the golden prize at what we do, and that is that almost guaranteed sale through the referral process because they sung such great praises about us and what we did. Like I said, forefront opportunity, it has a lot to do with your scalable investment in your brand. And if you look at service-based companies, look what Uber, Roto-Rooter, Merry Maids did with their brand. They scaled in their brand. These are important aspects. Don't be like everybody else. Don't have generic logos. Don't have, something that you just copied off the internet and name on. Be unique. Find a brand. Find a strategy. There's a lot of companies out there who have really cool, unique branding that, again, when that necessity arises and that opportunity is going to come to them, it's really a area of business that you get to be really, really creative. And while, like I said, necessity and opportunity, necessity arises, that is always going to come to you for the most part. Can you create necessity? Absolutely. If you're indoors and while you're installing, you can create opportunity, right? You can go into a market and say, all right, hey, they look like they need a roof. I'm going to knock on the door. That's creating opportunity. Creating necessity for that opportunity. But for the most part, that necessity is going to come to you. And that is a lot to do with your brand. They're going to remember you. They're going to remember the tiger stripes on the car or that crazy slogan that you have or the association with pickles, whatever it is. These companies that have these great branding, these great brandings already established. And then your products too, right? Obviously, I sell products, but there's a commodity-based industry stigma to what we do, right? When it comes to roofing. And having a product that is different, that make it stand out from other competitors, products that they're using in your market is a thing. So we want to make sure that the products that we're associating with, and it's not just roofing, if you're in siding or if you're doing windows and doors or whatever the case may be, we want to make sure that we're aligning this with a product that, people recognize, or there's things about it that set it apart, that make it different, just like our awesome brand. So scalable through product, there's that we can look at product, and I do this in my business too, and it's find low cost, high margin, right? That's the thought. I can find a really low cost product and a really high margin. That's not usually the case because all our competitors have the same idea. Let me find a really inexpensive product and bump up that margin. When you're going against competitors with a product that is mirrored to theirs, either the same or same type, right? Could be a different manufacturer, but same type, that profit margin will not be that high because you're going to create a situation where we're going to argue about price. Me and Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner are going to argue about price because why is it different? I get it. Your brand is awesome. You're 5-star reviewed. But when it comes down to brass tacks, the product's exactly the same. It's going to always open up that conversation of price, where we can go to the other thought process when it comes. And we don't not necessarily go to the highest product, but we find something that is a little bit better than that product that everybody else is using. When you add that value to it, that's really where you can scale profitability. Um, because you have something that's going to separate the way you separated yourself from your competitor as a business, as a personality, as an extension of who you are as a person. Your product should be in tow with you with that. That's kind of where the product B side would come in, where we can find something that's feature rich, recognized, has a lot to offer that we can upsell. And then these are the questions we want to ask, right? Is there choice? Best, better, good, right? Do we want to go in and dictate to the homeowner what they should be buying? No. We are in the business of educating, because there's a lot of homeowners that do not understand roofing. They don't even know shingle is called a shingle. They just think it's a roof, but we want to give them choice. So while we're educating, we don't want to restrict their choice. We want to give them enough options that it makes sense, that they feel that they're in control, because they're not in control of this process. You're educating, you're teaching them everything, and they're trusting you. But, we want to actually, human consumer behavior, they're always looking for choice. Feature and benefits, right? The product I'm offering, is it superior compared to what my competitors are offering, or I could be possibly using in my business? This is huge. We want to deal with, and this is not even within just the products you're using. This is in everything that you're using: minimum liability and quality issues. And that is for, if you're offering consumer financing, do your homework, right? The product you're using, do your homework. Make sure that you're not going to have liability or quality issues in anything that you're presenting to your customers, because if you get served a steak and it's burnt, who are you mad at? You're mad at the waiter and the waitress. But who burnt it? It was the cook. And is it really the cook's fault? It's probably the guy that hired the cook, or the owner, right? That's who it really falls on. But the perception buyer is, you gave it to me, you're at fault. Same thing. And you can be very, very clear with the consumer. This is the manufacturer. This is the financing company I use. These are the different things. This is the subcontractor I use even. We want to make sure that there's minimal liability and quality issues, because what that's do, if your homeowner has a bad experience, they are going to let you know it, and they're going to be that customer that gives you that 1 star. They're going to go back and take it away, and they're going to be that customer that's going to go on Rip-Off Report or Better Business Bureaus and complain about you, even though it wasn't your fault. You did your job, installed perfect, but there was some kind of breakdown in the products or the services you're using. So we want to really, really do our due diligence with liability quality issues. And then reliability, that really falls down to distribution, right? We want to make sure that we have a reliable distribution partner for our process, for how we're scheduling our jobs, right? We want to have reliability in the product, make sure that it gets there on time, you're not short, that we don't have a homeowner's roof exposed for longer than it needs to. Again, another way, like I said, to scale your products, a best, better, good. That consumer is true. We do it every day. Do we buy, whatever trinket we need and we go on Amazon? Do we buy the cheapest one? No, we want options. We want choices. So we'll scroll a little bit, even if it's $5 item, we're going to scroll a little bit to see what other options are out there. But there's a reason why this cleanest version of it in our because too much choice is too confusing, too little choice, it feels that they feel too suffocated. And this is another thing you can fact check me on, is that when you present a best, better, good strategy in your business, 10% will go with the best, 10% will go with the bottom, and 80% will go with the middle. And if we look at what these products represent, the top, premium look, most features, max warranty, most services, highest price, but high profit, and different from your competitors. And then we step down to our better, great look, less features, but many, average warranty, basic service, moderate price, but most profit, different from your competition. And then you have your catch-all down there, where it's average, limited warranty service, low price, small profit, and same as your competitor. And it doesn't have to be the exact same product. It has to be the exact same type of product as your competitor. Um, and we're always going to put our most profitable in the middle because this is what the buying behavior is. And, this is something that I did in my business, and it's salesman mentality. We always want to start from the top because what we do is we set the expectations really, really high. So if you go in a car, you're going to buy a car and you go in the showroom, and that model that's on the showroom floor, which one is it? It's the top model. It has the leather, it has the moonroof, it has everything. Now you go in a lot, you're taken away. So when I set that expectation really, really high for the homeowner, it's hard for them to start giving up the things that they feel are better suited for them, for a few $1,000s. And if I'm doing things like presenting financing and talking, hey, it's 12,000, but how does $99 a month sound? These are the things that are gonna let those people, you know, make these choice, like not make these sacrifices. So, but this is what the model is going to look like. I feel is the cleanest for any service-based business, especially in roofing and contractor. If you're doing siding, even decking, right? We want to present these different models, and we want to package them as well. Choice is important, but we want to control choice for our customers. We want to make sure that we are padding our profits, and that's why we want to do things in a package-based realm, because we know our profitability can be higher when we're adding services on and we're adding warranties onto these packages. We know where our profit margin lies. But it gives choice, but simplifies choice. That's what we want to do. We want to give choice, but make it very, very simple for them. It gets too confusing for the homeowner. It costs already for something that they're not really aware of. Makes your most profitable option more attractive. We always want to have a product that is going to make our other two products shine. So, we always want to have something that is cost efficient, but just compared to our top two tiers, it's night and day, because consumers don't want most homeowners don't understand some of the there. Most homeowners sell their houses in yet 7 years. Most homeowners never buy a roof. These homeowners don't know that. They have to spend a lot of money right now on a purchase that they do not want to make, and they want to make sure that this doesn't get. They don't know that they're not going to live there anymore. They don't know that it's going to last 25, 30 years without even a hiccup. They don't know that. So when we present these as packages, they're going to go for the thing that's going to be the most value and most protection for them and their family. And always frame the competitor as inferior. You know, just whatever your most, common product in your market. And again, just roofing, anything that your competitors are using. If you're in other, areas of home improvement, you're doing siding, you're doing decking, even masonry, always frame your competitors as inferior. You might be friends, but business is business, right? We don't want to make up things about them, but we want to call out things like why they're doing what they're doing, why they're using inferior products, how they're using inferior products, how their organization is ran, how yours is, if they're using very cheap underpaid subs and things like that, right? We want to frame our competitors as inferior, because all that does is make us look better, and makes homeowners want to do business with us. Especially, again, another buying behavior, most homeowners are going to get three or quotes or bids for their jobs. So we know we have two other players in the room with us in most cases, so we got to look better than them at all times. So when we look at that, product A, product B, what we're gonna do is we're gonna increase our win-loss percentage. That's what our goal is here. Decrease loss through competition through price, right? We never want to get into the price conversation. That devalues us. It devalues what we do. And when when our homeowners start nickel and diming us, we want to avoid that. So we want to be firm on our price, but we want to establish these scalable things in our business that price, our brand, our reputation, the products we use, that justifies our price. So there is no negotiation. The price is what the price is. You don't want to devalue yourself, devalue your business negotiating price. And then, increase win percentage over competitor products. That's, what we're looking to do when we're aligning ourselves with a product that is going to fit into our business. When to invest in scalable growth, it's constantly, right? We want to constantly invest in, there's time and place for it, but the common rule, and this is, obviously common knowledge if you're actively, looking up things on business, is to reinvest about 20 to 30% of your profits. But there are people that say go aggressive, 50 to 70%. But the questions you really got to ask, is it available and is it scalable? If we are in our first, third, fifth year, right, we're still scaling. I mean, most cases we're still scaling. So we want to, really be intentional in what we're doing. And we want to make sure that we are really aware of those investments, what type of strain that'll put on us, and the people that rely on us. So when to grow, though, right? It seems like I'm knocking growing. I'm not knocking growing. Like you want to grow. That is the end result, right? Us at Atlas, we're growing, right? We're opening a brand new manufacturing plant in Iowa. That's a growth strategy. We invested a lot of money to our capacity. That's growth. How we got there, we scaled the business. We scaled, grassroots scaling. If you've been in this industry for a long time, a lot of the Atlas story, right? We were the little engine that could, and now we scaled, and we so when to grow is when your business has a life of its own and a predictable stream of income. There's a lot of variables in what we do. There's a lot of, if you're in a store market, if you're in retail market, things doing the economy, there's a lot of variables there. But when your business has a life of its own and a predictable stream of income, that's when we know we can grow. We know the lights will stay on. We know our people will be paid. We know that we can even take a rough time, right? We have a downtick with the economy and things like that. Lending rates are through the roof, right? It's hard for people to get loans because they're, 22% APR. These are things that, we have to navigate through as business owners. So knowing that, next month and 6 months and 10 months, and that storm, and I can still be profitable, that's when I want to grow. And that's when I'm going to look at future expansion. I'm going to look at new markets. I'm going to look like, that I want to do to increase the size of my business versus increase the money. The one thing I didn't mention, and I just want to say this about our industry too, is that, the one thing that most industries have against them is people. People are an overhead, and they are a growth strategy for most companies. The great thing about roofing industry is that we can have as many salespeople we want because we're a 1099 business. So that is a way we can and have growth through people. So, if we're looking to go into new markets, we hire on people. They're paying themselves on commission. So this is something that we have a leg up in most industries, is that, the people that are out there generating our money for us don't cost us money. So that's an advantage that's a little bit different than a lot of industry. So Dylan said I could take 10 minutes, talk a little bit about Atlas. So I just want to throw a little bit of Atlas in there. I got the thumbs up, so I'm good. Really falls into that product strategy, right? That's what I was alluding to when and again, you don't have to stick Atlas in there. You can put what you feel is those best, better, good strategies that you feel more comfortable with. You want to take all those factors that I said in brand, reputation, liability. You want to take in features, right? And that's the thing about Atlas that is a little bit different than a lot of the other manufacturers out there, is that we have a lot of features. One, we have a recognizable brand just because of our partnership with 3M and Scotchgard, right? We're educating. These homeowners don't know much about roofing. So the Scotchgard brand, 3M, I mean, there's not a person after the last several years that does not know who 3M is. And to say that you prefer a manufacturer that has a partnership with 3M, that they trust them, that goes a long way when we're homeowners. And then if you look at our features, We have class 4 in those markets. We have the smog technology where, I actually put on this a couple of road shows. The way to describe it to a homeowner is you're putting a HEPA filter on your roof. Again, we want to be very, very intentional how we explain a lot of this stuff to the homeowner and use that they know and things that they're familiar with. So 3M Scotchgard, putting a HEPA filter on your roof, that smog technology. There is not many manufacturer, if there's only one other manufacturer out there that does have that technology. So again, a roof is not a sexy purchase. People don't want to buy it. So if I can tell you buying this roof is going to give you cleaner, breathable air because you're 3 miles away from a really busy highway, that's an added value statement that none of our competitors can say. Same with the cooling. Again, not an attractive purchase. I have to spend $25,000. I was saving for Disney. That cooling technology, that statement is, I'm going to install a roof that's going to actually save you money. Because our 3M cooling technology, with the SRI ratings, will reflect, and you can look to save upwards of 20% on cooling costs during the summer months because of that reflective technology. Now, are there other manufacturers that have high SRI rated products? Absolutely. But a couple of things are true. One, they're granule based like ours. So they're color based. So they're usually whites and oysters, where Atlas, we have browns and we have grays and we have these really, really great. The other difference is that other Scotchgard, that other 3M thing, the Scotchgard, our roofs don't streak. So that's an advantage as well. And another value statement where, again, and I live in the now. I don't understand I'm going to sell my home. I'm thinking I'm going to live here forever, hand it down to my kids. But saying I have to spend this significant amount of money and have this ugly, dirty roof is another value statement. And with the 3M cooling, on top of that, our roofs don't streak. So that roof will always stay cool for the longevity of that homeowner. So every year, $200, say they're spending, $1,000 extra a summer and they're in the cost. That's $200 every year for the next 20 years in their mind. That roof pays for itself. You just made you money. So these are some of the strategies that you can use with the Atlas and the features that kind of set yourself apart. They fit in that scalable, and I feel, Atlas is that product that you could honestly scale your business with because of all the features, how feature rich they are. That being said, I appreciate the time. I appreciate Dylan and everybody having me do this. I put my QR absolutely. You can save my information. You want to shoot an email over to me, follow me on social, whatever, it's there for you. But yeah, I appreciate the time, and I hope everything I said was useful, and you can take it and implement some strategy in your business.
Josh, thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate it. I know you're super busy traveling a lot, so thanks for taking some time out to give a free training to our group and just add value to the group, man. And I think one of the things that stands out to me a lot about Atlas is you mentioned with the Scotchgard and the 3M, the branding. I mean, some manufacturers have great things to add from a value standpoint, but when you can go to a homeowner and say, "Hey, have you ever used Scotchgard to waterproof your shoes or whatever?" Yeah, we have that in our shingles. They're immediately going to get it versus I don't, the other ones are just going to have to do more explaining. So I think from a sales standpoint, and I know obviously the is great too. So thanks a lot. And for
Yep.
those of you listening in, of course, we have a special partnership with Atlas. So if you're not already plugged into that, reach out. And Josh has got his contact info here. And if you guys want to follow up and you saw the recording or whatever, you want to contact Josh or anybody at Atlas, just let us know and we'll make it happen.